Uh, Hello. So I want to talk about this problem, and essentially, this problem indicates two of the major strategies that we use in supply chain. Um, mm, you know, if company want to increase their profit margin, so they can either reduce the cost or they can increase their sales and increase their revenue, right? So in this problem, essentially we demonstrate these two approaches and how can we figure out how much cost we have to reduce or how much sales we have to increase. Okay. And this is the problem from your textbook, chapter 11-A, question number 10. And this is about Holly's furniture. So if you do the quiz problem, and one of the problem is very similar to this. So each one of you will have a dynamic version of the problem. So which means that you have the same problem, but the number are different. So you will encounter this problem and your, sales probably is a different number. Your cost of material is a different number, but overall the problem design is exactly the same. So I want to explain this problem a little bit so you can know that how to tackle this type of problem and design the strategy for it. So this is a Howley Furniture Company. And then their sales for last year is 80,000. And then their cost of material is 44,000. And production cost is 20,000. And the fixed cost is 12,000. And the profit is 4,000. Now, if you take 80,000 minus 44,000 minus 20,000 minus 12,000, and that equals 4,000, right? So let me explain these costs a little bit. Sales is easy to understand. You sell a piece of furniture and the sales price is essentially reflected in this recorded item there, right? The cost of a material is generate the raw materials that you use for production. And this is a cost of what we call typically the variable cost. And variable costs changes when the production volume changes. That's easy to understand. When you produce one set of furniture, then you use this amount of raw material, and you produce two, you multiply by a factor of two, right? You produce 1,000, you multiply by a factor of 1,000. So this is the variable cost. Production cost typically is what we call for the labor cost, okay? And this is also a variable cost, which means it changes when the production volume changes, right? The fixed cost is usually the cost associated with rent, right? Building, insurance, right? Administrative support, etc. Now, each company, they will have those administrative support functions, right? And then those accounting major will know that we allocated this cost for particular activities. So in this particular production environment, it was allocated a fixed cost of $12,000. And this cost does not change when the production volume changes. Okay. And then you take 44,000 divided by 80 and you got a 55%. So I know the cost of a material accounts for 55% of overall sales. And production cost accounts for 25%, and the fixed cost is 15%, then profit is 5%. Okay. So the first question, we want to explore how, if we want to increase the profit to 9,000, and if we want to just focus on reducing the cost of a material, the raw material cost reduction, how much we have to reduce and what percentage of a material cost should be reduced, right? So this requires us to set up an algebra layout for just using the algebra to solve this problem, right? And you need to set up an equation for that. So basically from the problem, we know that sales minus the cost of material minus the production cost minus the fixed cost is equal to profit, right? This is what we covered here in this area. Now, 80,000 and minus, because I want to change my cost of a material, right? I want to reduce it so my profit can increase. So I assign my cost of material as a variable X. So 80,000 minus X minus 20,000, which is the production cost, and minus 12,000, which is the fixed cost, is equal to 9,000, which is my updated, my new profit margin, right? So then you just basically solve for X, and then X is 39,000. And then you can just, take this, and then we also can calculate what does this 39,000 mean for us, right? 39,000, which is a reduction, come from a 44,000. So what percentage do we have to reduce here? So 44,000 minus the 39,000 and divided by my original cost for material. And this give me a percentage value of 11.4. So I needed to reduce my cost of a material for 11.4% to reach a profit margin of 9,000. Okay, so this is the approach to focus on cost reduction. Then we can also explore that if we want to increase our profit to 9,000, if I don't want to reduce the cost of a material, because someone will say that if you reduce the cost of a material, then the quality of a product might deteriorate, right? So if we want to maintain the same cost of material ratio there, what sales, we have to increase, okay? So this can be set up as an equation again. And again, this uses this function that, original through our analysis, right? Sales minus cost of material minus production cost minus fixed cost equals to profit. So if we assume the new sales volume is X, and the cost of a material accounts for 55% of the sales, so 0.55X minus the production cost is typically 25% of the sales, so 0.25X, and minus a fixed cost. And remember, the fixed cost does not change when the production volume changes, right? This should give me a $9,000 as a profit. So I rearrange it and then solve for X, and the X should be 105,000. And you can do all those calculations in Excel. I hope this helps, and let me know if you have more questions, okay?